Here it is, the OnePlus 6T. It looks a lot like this, the OnePlus 6, but with a couple of significant changes. You'll be able to buy it starting on November 1st for $549 and up. Now, before I get into some of the other changes that are on the 6T, there's a big one that a lot of you have been waiting for. The OnePlus 6T is the first OnePlus phone that can be used on Verizon. This is huge. You can finally use a OnePlus phone on the biggest carrier in the US, complete with LTE and VoLTE service. In addition, the OnePlus 6T will be sold directly by T-Mobile in the US, making it the first OnePlus phone to be sold by any carrier here. You'll be able to find it in every T-Mobile store and use T-Mobile's device payment plans combined with your phone bill to purchase it. This is a big deal for OnePlus, which has only sold its phones online in the US, and it'll continue to do so if you want to order it online, you can. And if you're in the UK, OnePlus will be selling the 6T on every major carrier, plus on Amazon and at John Lewis stores. Okay, so let's talk about the phone itself. There aren't a ton of changes from the 6 that was just released in May of this year, but there are a handful of new things that are pretty significant. Let's start with the display. It's still an edge-to-edge OLED screen, but now it's even larger at 6.4 inches. The bottom chin is 1 millimeter smaller, and the notch at the top is way smaller than before. It's got this little teardrop kind of shape. If you hate notches, this is probably the only one that you'll be able to tolerate. But even more significant is that under this screen is a fingerprint scanner for unlocking the phone. OnePlus has removed the traditional fingerprint scanner that was on the back of the 6 and completely embedded it inside the 6T screen. That makes the 6T the first phone in the US to offer this kind of feature. Now, you can use it to unlock the phone, log into apps that support fingerprint logins like your bank account app or something like that, or authenticate locked data and apps. OnePlus says that it works through screen protectors and through small scratches on the screen, and it's just as secure as the traditional style scanners. Now, the company claims that this scanner is the fastest in-screen scanner in any phone, but I don't really have a bunch of other phones with this feature to compare it to. But I can tell you that it's not as fast as the traditional fingerprint reader that you're probably used to. There's a little pause or beat each time you use it because the light has to illuminate before it scans your finger and then the phone unlocks. I don't think this is a huge problem. It's still fast and it still works reliably most of the time, but it is noticeable. Now, if you do want a faster, more convenient, but way less secure way to unlock your phone, the 6T has the same face unlocking system that uses the front camera and is wicked fast. Inside, the 6T has the same set of specs as before. It's a Snapdragon 845 processor, 6 or 8 gigs of RAM, up to 256 gigs of storage. What's different is you can't buy a 64 gig model anymore. The base model of the 6T starts at 128. And OnePlus has also bumped up the battery capacity up to 3,700 milliamp hours, which it says provides 20% more battery life than the 6. I haven't been using the 6T long enough to test this, but it's a significantly larger battery pushing the same processor and same screen resolution, so it's safe to assume that it will probably last longer than before. That bigger battery does change a couple of things with the body of the phone. It's a little thicker and a little heavier than before, and the back has more of a curve than the 6. I actually find it to be nicer to hold than the 6 though. It fits my hand better and it just feels more substantial. But this is still a big phone, and if you find big phones to be hard to use, you're gonna have a hard time with this one. The other big thing that OnePlus changed is that it removed the headphone jack that was on the 6. Now, it's just as annoying here as it is on the Pixel or the iPhone or any other phone without a headphone jack, but OnePlus is including a little adapter in the box so you can use your 3.5mm headphones with it. You might also miss the notification LED at the top, which has been removed in the pursuit of this tiny little teardrop notch. And OnePlus still isn't offering wireless charging, which is a bummer when practically every other phone has it now, and it still doesn't have proper water-resistant certification. But it does have OnePlus's extremely fast wired charging, provided you use the included charging brick and cable that come in the box. The 6T's camera hardware is exactly the same as before. It's got a 16 megapixel main camera with a 20 megapixel second sensor for portrait effects, plus a 16 megapixel front camera. But OnePlus has added a bunch of software tweaks and a couple of new features, including a better portrait mode, better low-light shots, and a new nightscape mode for nighttime landscapes and cityscapes. And if you have a OnePlus 6, all of those new camera features will be coming in a software update, so look out for that. The 6T is launching with OnePlus's Oxygen OS on top of Android 9 Pie. It does have a couple of new features. It's got an improved gesture control system and some better memory management tweaks. So there you go, that's the new OnePlus 6T. Just like the 3T and the 5T before it, it takes the phone that OnePlus launched a few months ago, tweaks it, refines it, and makes it a better overall device. It's a really good phone, and it still has a really aggressive price, especially compared to the new phones from Apple and Google. And this time around, Verizon users get to join the fun. Hey, thanks for watching. For more on the OnePlus 6T, including our full review with camera samples and all that fun stuff, be sure to check out theverge.com. And if you haven't seen our new science channel, go check it out, youtube.com/vergescience.